that invitation to the Drainage Board meeting.
Right there.
I guess it is
You sent that on Friday, January the 9th,
I don't know how you
45
Water,
seconds.
anybody got extra?
just water all that, write all that and get something out of it. I just,
Pardon me, Mark?
That's what they deem to do, I guess.
it was,
I don't remember.
you know what I mean, but that was just all this.
Yeah.
All rise, I'll call this meeting to order. We will start with the invocation by Diane. Thank you, Diane.
Yeah. Instead of doing a traditional invocation tonight, I would just like to share a couple thoughts, because I was ruminating yesterday. It was Dr. Martin Luther King Day, of course, and for most of us up here, Josh, we remember those events. They happened when we were young children, but when you see all of the news articles and you watch on TV, and of course it highlights his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. And then last night, IU won a national championship because someone had a dream and encouraged others to believe in it and got a whole movement started around it. And this afternoon, I learned that Coach Ted Huber passed away at 1:40 p.m. And he had a dream when my son was a senior at Warsaw High School that they were finally going to win a sectional championship outright and win over Northwood and Middlebury at the time that were big rivals. And it was also the anniversary of my father's funeral. And I thought about the fact that we, as a council, have had dreams. We all came onto this with the dream of helping make the city a better place, of seeing it grow, and thinking about what's happened just in the 15 years that I've been on the council and seeing those things, many of them come to fruition. And I was thinking that behind every dream comes generations of people that worked to bring us to the place where we are. And so tonight, in our first official meeting of the year, I would just like to express gratitude for all those that have gone on before us, including your dad, Mike, and those that have laid the groundwork for us to be where we are now today, and to just take upon our own charge the fact that we need to continue to have a dream. We need to continue to have a vision. We need to continue to work together, to discuss, to respect one another. I appreciate about this council that we have lots of different opinions and we have lots of discussions, and despite what some people might think when they come in, we do not all agree on most things when we start off, and it takes a lot of hard work and research and talking and just working with one another. So my dream for our council is that we can continue to carry that out in this year to come. Amen.
That is well said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Another pleasant surprise. Thank you. So, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated, and really appreciate
I'm going to keep it right at your funeral.
Okay.
your words, the challenge. I appreciate it, man. We have, first item, we have the approval of the minutes from our December meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's a motion to approve along with a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Lynn, also for the record, legal is here and the entire membership of the council is present.
Thank you.
We want to welcome our guests tonight, Warsaw Police Department, Mike. Dan is here because of a mistake that I made a couple of weeks ago on my calendar. Plan Commission for,
6 years now.
okay, 6 years, another term that he's going to be sworn in tonight to serve. I just think about the, it's just over a dozen boards and commissions. Dan is going to serve on the Plan Commission. And the impact that those boards and commissions also have, if you get dreaming service for the community. I saw Jurgen tonight at the park board meeting. We also have countless individuals that are volunteering basically to serve, and Dan is one of them. I think when I went through the book, somebody I gave to you when I first came in as mayor, it's almost 75 people. And so that's pretty neat that we have this in our democratic republic. All right, Dan, you've been so patient. If you come on up here, I'll ask you to come over here and swear you in tonight. If you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Dan Stevens, do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Indiana,
of the State of Indiana,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and diligently
and diligently
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a member of
as a member of
the Warsaw Planning Commission
the Warsaw Plan Commission
of the City of Warsaw,
for the City of Warsaw,
according to law
according to law
and to the best of my ability.
and to the best of my ability.
Thank you so much. Yeah, good. All right. Yeah. All right, thank you. All right. I thank this board's patience for that. Important part of, again, serving this city. That'll take us to reports oral and written, and it looks like we have a November fund report and a December fund report. Lynn?
That's right. If you, the December one, the numbers at the ending balance are a little bit higher than they were in November, although they weren't all as high as what they were at the first of the year. So anyways, I don't know if you had a chance to look over everything, but if you have a question, let me know.
Any questions or comments from the board on either one of them? Hearing none, we have no unfinished business. That will take us to new business. The first item, charge that we have as a council is to select our council president, Jack Wilhite. I will give the floor to you to work through that. Thank you for your service, not only to this board, but also the past several years as our president.
Thank you. I appreciate being able to serve as council president. And at this point, I will open the floor for nominations for council president for the next year, 2026.
I'd like to nominate you, Jack, as our council president for the next year.
Thank you, Jerry.
I'll second that nomination.
Okay, we got a first by Jurgen Voss and a second by Counselor Diane Klontz. Do I hear any other nominations?
I'll move that the nominations be closed.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Counselor Klontz to close the nominations and a second by Counselor Jerry Frush. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. So the next order of business would be to vote on the position of council president. And since I'm the only one that has been nominated, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of Jack Wilhite being the council president for 2026, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Thank you. I appreciate your confidence in me. If there's one thing that a couple of things that I try to bring to this council. One is to try to keep you as informed as I can of the things that I know of that I'm not sure whether or not you are aware of. And the other thing is to try to treat each member, and Councilor Quantz brought this up earlier, but to try to treat each and every one of you with the utmost respect. That's one of the things that I like about this council. We treat each other with respect. We may not agree. As a matter of fact, we very rarely do at first anyhow. But we usually can come to a consensus on most items. And I believe that's because we have respect for one another. And I want to thank you for letting me lead this group. With that, I'll turn the meeting back over to the mayor.
Thank you very much, Council President Jack Wilhite. Appreciate that. We will go to the second item of new business. You're looking at Resolution 2026-0101. Yearly for many years. Lynn might be able to help us out with some history. We have taken money from the general fund, specifically lit dollars, and transferred those to the fire territory. The amount has not changed for many years. Is that correct, Lynn? I mean, it's been
this amount for a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's been lower.
Yeah, and so the amount is $700,000, assisting the fire territory with their operations. Any questions, comments on this? It is a resolution, and so we can act on it tonight if I receive a motion.
I would make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mike, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Josh. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. That'll take us to the next item. We actually have two from the Plan Department, looking at different ordinances. A lot of work's gone into it. I want to thank Justin Taylor for his efforts, countless other people, but he has been the point person. I know that legal has helped out for countless weeks. Justin, what are we looking at tonight with the first ordinance amendment 2026-01-01?
Yeah, so good evening, and thanks for letting me present this ordinance to you for your consideration. This first ordinance deals with the fines that are handed out if somebody violates the parking ordinance within the city. So with that, we were tasked to look at ways to improve the parking situation in downtown. We found that there were three issues that really were causing the most consternation with downtown business owners and visitors to downtown. That was lack of consistent enforcement. There was space shuffling, and then the desire to have a more efficient, effective system that could grow with the city. So we're about to see a new apartment building come online downtown, and even additional growth on Buffalo Street coming in the near future. So we really needed to hone in on a system that would upgrade our pencil and paper system, as well as prevent some of the activities that were happening where somebody would just shuffle space, one space and then back and forth throughout the day and just park downtown the entire day. So this is the first piece of that puzzle, creating a more robust fee system where it's not, we were finding that $10 just wasn't adequate enough of a fine to prevent the undesired activity that was occurring. So some individuals would stay in the same spot all day and just pay the fine. So that, in summing it up, that's what this first ordinance does. It would double those fines. You can see a breakdown starting on page 3. I did want to highlight 3 additional fines that we were proposing go up related to the building department. That was not on previous iterations, but after speaking with the building commissioner and the inspectors and the council president, we think that this would be a move that would help them as well, since we are adjusting this table. So those are highlighted. They're currently $25 and $50 per fine. So we were proposing those go to $50 and $100 for the second and subsequent violations. So wanted to highlight that first of all. This in effect, as you can see, starting on page 3, and if you went down through there, you would see that we're basically taking our parking tickets and adjusting them from $10 to $25. So we want to balance that line. $25 is still not as high of a fee as some larger cities might charge, but we feel like this is a fair and friendly place to start to see where that will take us as far as being able to enforce the parking in downtown. So again, I won't belabor this. You guys have seen this quite a few times. So I just wanted to present that and that general overview. But the ordinance for the Fines Bureau, Chapter 2, that's what that addresses.
I think the only things, I did have a little bit of a concern about the increase in the handicap parking to $250. I did not a problem with it for the second violation, but just kind of been looking at other signs and stuff around town, $100 seems to be maybe more within reason. I don't know, it just seemed.
How did we arrive at 250?
250 is pretty standard for the industry, so you'll see that around other cities. $100 is the state minimum. For handicap, we were charging $50, so we weren't even at the state minimum until we're still charging $50. So we can definitely change that if the council would like it to be $100. $250 was the industry standard for the area. So
It just seemed like a large jump to me.
and that's for somebody that's clearly violating the ADA guidelines and parking in a handicap spot.
I would agree with Cindy on that. It just seems like 250s, for a lot of people, that's a great burden. 100 is, to me, is a little more reasonable. I can see the 250 on the second, have no problems with that, so I would definitely, that's just my opinion, I think 100 would be much more fair. And if it's an issue, I mean, how many do we write a year? Have an idea?
I'm not sure on the number of it. I think it's very rare, and they would basically have to, if they had a plaque, they wouldn't pay that fine. So if you parked in an ADA spot and you were ticketed, you would show your plaque and you wouldn't. It's for somebody that is knowingly violating an ADA spot.
What about 150? I just know we have at least one area where when the tree branches grow, you can't even really see the handicap sign. Now, if the painting along the curb is there, yeah, but you can't really see the sign. And I could see where somebody was distracted and maybe wouldn't purposely park there, but.
Well, this is one of those times when I'm going to disagree,
Yeah.
just a little bit. I wouldn't be too opposed to drop it a little bit, but, gosh, I see so many people get out of their big trucks or their sports cars that have parked in a handicap spot and just go bouncing out and, young folks. It's supposed to be for handicapped folks.
One thing too is sometimes people, if they have the placard, they just forget to put it up. So if they have it and they haven't put it up, then I'm sure that there'll be concessions for those situations.
If they had a placard and just hadn't hung it up and got a ticket, would they be able to take the placard into the place where you pay for that fine?
Yeah, there's an appeals process as well, but yeah, they would be able to appeal it. Or if they didn't see the sign, they took a photo, they could appeal it that way too. So we have flexibility. I'm open to whatever the council wants to do on that. If you want to go 100, 150, leave it. Whatever you want to do there, that's totally fine. I think we definitely don't want to go below 100 though. I think that the state set that minimum, so we should stick with that.
So having recently had to use these, it is very frustrating when a car with no placard and no license plate is in the only possible spot on the block where you can get up safely out of your vehicle and onto the sidewalk, because we don't have that many places the way our curbs are where you can do that. And so, I guess I don't have a problem with it for the reason you were saying, Jack, is for those people that abuse it. Now, you know, if they can show that they couldn't see that it was marked, or, you know, that they still had their placard in their glove compartment, I don't know why you would. Mine's hanging on my
You just leave it.
rear
My
view
wife
mirror.
informs me I'm not supposed to leave it there, so, in her car, but.
Oh, yeah, if you're parking it, or
Yeah.
if you're driving, yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to leave it up when you're.
When you're driving, yeah.
Ah,
I just playing devil's advocate, because I, you know, see this from time to time where people have someone that's with a walker or wheelchair. They may be just being neighborly and transporting them, and perhaps the only place to let them out is in the handicapped. And I know of a couple situations where people have let somebody out, helped them into the store, and then gone back to move their car, but got a ticket in the meantime.
Well, that's where the appeals process could
Maybe.
come into play. And, you know, I hate to second guess, in this case, Justin, the city planner, because he spent a lot of time on this. More than I have.
Again, I'm totally fine with changing it to whatever you feel is appropriate for the community. That's the goal is to make this fit our community. So 250 is something I've seen quite frequently, but I am very open to changing that if that's what you
You know,
guys.
Justin, I see down below there in 74-218, you got a 150.
Yes.
And a 150.
What's an immobilization?
Yeah. I was gonna
So,
ask.
so that's with the wheel lock. So if we go out, if you have 3 unpaid parking tickets for 90 days, that's what our current ordinance does. It allows us to lock a wheel at that same juncture if somebody has 3 unpaid parking tickets. This is just the fee to go out there, put the immobilization device on the car, take it off. If they damage it in any way, they would have to pay for the damages or replacement
Well, you
device.
have- In that page 4, you have 3 items: immobilization, city hall lot parking, and handicap parking, where the first violation and the second violation are equal amounts. But yet, in every other instance, the first violation is less than the second violation. So I guess what I'm saying is, shouldn't the second violation usually be more than the first? Or the first violation be a little less, and kind of like a warning shot? And if you want 250 for the second, I could see 150 for the first. And if you want 150 for the second, I could see 100 for the first. Just
No.
that warning shot?
I'm leaning in favor of what he's proposed, but I understand the arguments. And Mike, you just made me, we're going from 10 to 25 and then 25 to 50. That's like 2.5 times. So that we've been at 50, what you're telling me is $50 under the state minimum. But if we were to take it, the pattern, to 125, that's about 2.5 times more than what we've been doing. So we certainly are stair-stepping it up. And again, I'm comfortable with 250, but I understand I think I do like the idea that it's been about a 2.5, 3 times jump. The handicap, we are very serious at 250. I think we're leaning toward being far more serious at 125, and then 125 times 2 is 250, which is your 25 to 50. If you're, I'm just talking. I didn't think about it until Mike made that
Just
point.
throwing out some
Yeah.
ideas.
Would you be comfortable with that, Cindy?
I'm comfortable with that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm comfortable with 125. I think
Yeah,
that's-
that would be
it's
okay. I mean, I
half of the
think-
second.
Yeah, and definitely then if they would do it a second time, yeah, the 250 I have no problem with.
So since those numbers are pretty big in those three instances, would we have somewhere posted on that handicap parking, would you have $250 fine? So just to warn people, hey, it's even posted, it's a $250 fine, even though the first one might be 1 1/4.
That is typical of the ADA spots. You'd put the fine underneath it.
Like up to, usually they say.
Yeah, most
Yeah,
places
I
in the
think-
parking
I think-
lot, it'll say, yeah,
Yeah.
up to,
I think it might be good form to do that.
yeah, I do too.
Justin, you did say you're willing to adjust. I wanted
Oh,
him
yeah,
to
of
be
course.
I did too. I wanted him to be very
And I hate
aggressive.
to second guess.
He's done a great
No,
job, and
it's-
Oh, yeah,
I'm
sure.
supporting it, but I do like, again, Mike's comments and everybody else's, where maybe we go to 125 on the more serious ones that we want to target, and then the doubling, it's a pattern that's following all the others. And, $50 is a lot less than 125. And second offense, then it does start to come at you at 250 for
And you know, it's a
those serious
starting
ones.
point.
And it's much higher. It
And
is.
if we find that it needs to be different, we can
Yeah.
always come back and change it.
Justin, you didn't say you have any red flags with making those adjustments on the higher ones to 125?
No, I think that's fine. If that's what the council wants to do, I think the 125, so you're saying 125 for all ADA spots and then 250?
Yeah.
Are you saying the same for the immobilization? Would that be half of 150? Would it?
No, I wouldn't change that one because
Okay.
that not only involves a ticket, but it
But-
involves their time, because they have to go out and
Yeah.
deal with it, and then they have to come back out again and remove it. And so we're talking man-hours here of having to, and a piece of equipment that the city has to maintain or replace. So I don't know if I would.
If anything,
try-
I'd make the second offense
Yeah,
more than
even do it
150.
more, yeah.
And typically, immobilization is done because of something else that is wrong, right? I mean, because they
They've had
park there
multiple
too long,
tickets.
way too long.
Multiple unpaid parking tickets
Right,
yeah.
for
So-
an extended amount of time. Yep.
So on the handicapped parking, are you talking about in section 74-220 and section 74-214?
Yes.
And, yes.
So the first one would be 125 and then the second fine would be
So
250.
would you want
Right.
to see
For both of them.
150 and 250? Or
Yeah.
150 and
150
300?
and 200, or 125, you could model it after
125.
handicap, you could do 125 and 250.
On the immobilization?
Mhm. Yeah.
Or since, to Diane's point, it does take more manpower, maybe 150 to 250 or 150
Yeah,
to
150
300?
to
or-
250, or
That makes sense.
if you don't want to break the
What say
pattern,
ye?
then you'd go to 300.
Well, usually, remember too, they've already got, sorry to interrupt,
No, you don't, no, we need.
a lot of parking fines, and that's why they're getting immobilized anyway. So I don't know how much you want to stack on their fines plus their immobilization.
Well, if they got a lot of other fines, I'm ready to stack it.
Yeah, I was going to say, clearly, they don't care about the 3 tickets that are worth $75 or so, so, you know,
I think the line of thinking there too,
Just follow the
that was a
rules.
number recommended by our consultant, the 150. The amount of effort, they've got to go out twice, they got to go lock it and then unlock it. So the amount of effort doesn't necessarily change. We're just trying to not
I'd
put
do
that on the
150
taxpayers to cover that expense as they go out there, so.
So to sum up and move on, I think that we're at 125 for the handicap parking for the first offense, 250 for the second. We're at 150 for the immobilization fee for the first, 300 for the second. And you're good with all the other stuff that Justin proposes.
And then there's the city hall.
which would be the same,
It was-
handicap
good point,
parking,
yes.
125, first
But you
offense,
didn't mention it,
250
that's why I
second.
just-
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So do you need an
Okay.
amendment to that effect?
150, 300.
Can we
Scott, do
approve
we
with-
need to
Can we-
amend it?
Can we make the motion
and
with
then
those adjustments?
Approve it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we amend this ordinance to read, let's see, on section, I've got to find them now. I was on them. Section 74-214 and section 74-220. First offense will be 125 and second offense will be 250. And on section number 74-218, first offense will be 150 and second offense will be 300.
I would like to make a clarification on that, just to make sure.
Make sure I got it.
Because there's more than
Yes.
one,
Yeah.
74-214. So I would say section 74-214, handicap parking,
Oh, got it.
first offense 125, second offense 250. And then 74-220,
City Hall.
handicap, city hall
Okay,
handicap parking, first offense 125, second offense 250. Mobilization fee 74-218, first offense 150, second offense 300.
Diane,
Okay.
you made the motion. Are you comfortable with that?
I am,
The
so-
recommendation?
I'll take the recommendation if you want to second it.
And I will second that.
That helps, very good. So Diane has made the motion. Appreciate your help, Jack, along with your second. There's a motion and a second to amend as presented. General recognition on Diane's proposed changes. Any further discussion?
On that? No.
Yes. Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay. This ordinance has been amended. We're back to consideration of the amended ordinance. Thanks, Diane and Jack, for that. Also, the great discussion and help Scott there at the end. You too, Lynn. Any other questions surrounding the entire ordinance?
Yes.
Mike?
And I talked to Justin a little bit about it, and I talked to Jack a little bit about it. I had an instance on section 70-1 about clearing snow from sidewalks, and I know that that can be a sticky subject. I think you're probably aware, Mayor. I had an instance that brought it to my attention, personal instance. So I've talked to Justin, and I think maybe there's room to look at some way of maybe making that better. A lot of gray area in that. So he said he would.
And what we could do, Mike, too, because it's on the fine table here, but we can possibly amend the language so that the fine stays the way it is, but the language that the fine table refers to, the 70-1, could be modified in a way, or we could take a look at that as it relates to state and federal law and see if there's something we can do it with our local language that would help with that.
Yeah, I know, and I know there's an appeal process for this too, probably. It'd just be nice not to have to mess with it in certain instances. In my case, I was gone when the notice came, and it's not even my house. So, yeah, I can see why sidewalks downtown in the business area need to be maintained. Neighborhood sidewalks, you know, especially if it's snowing. And I understand a lot of people had received the same notice. So I just want to bring it to your attention, everybody, and if you could look at something, that'd be terrific. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Any other comments or questions?
So if we, I was just gonna say on page 7, there, again, there's 74-214, handicap parking, that'll be changed to? Page 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywhere where it says handicap parking,
All right, well, I never want to assume.
Yeah, yep.
That's what Jack was clarifying.
Yeah, that was called out, 74,
Well,
218.
but it was called out up here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just coming down
Those are
here.
the same things.
I just
in
want to
a-
make
yeah.
sure.
Justin, is
I
the,
believe, anyway, that's, yeah.
is the chart above the changes and the chart below what it currently is?
Correct. So the initial chart on, like, starting on page 3 is just the changes side by side with what's existing. I just wanted to show you guys side by side what we have currently and what we're proposing.
Okay.
And those
And
are
then-
the only changes of the overall.
There's a little bit of language at the top where there was, it called out the clerk treasurer, I believe, in one area where we changed it to violations clerk. So there were small little things, but this ordinance isn't very long. So we tried to lightly adjust things as they were currently functioning. So right now PD is doing all the code enforcement for this stuff. So we just wanted to make sure that language was reflected in the ordinance. So little minor things like that.
I think back to the question too, it was his memo basically that we were discussing and talking about, but all of that, again, that motion, it would be within that ordinance, which is the last 3-4 pages of the 8. Those will be updated due to your unanimous vote to amend. Handicap parking, the 125 to 250.
It's actually kind of nice to have this whole ordinance because now that we can't get into a library anymore, it's really difficult to look up current ordinances. So I may even actually print this off because you get calls from people about, you know,
It's on our
different-
website. Our ordinances are on our website, our code book ordinances
on,
on the city's website.
okay.
I have another
This-
There
question
might be a
there.
little delay from when we pass them and when they actually publish them
Right.
digitally.
But this is friendly, and I agree
It
with
is
you.
friendly because you always have to
Yeah.
type in a word
Hey,
to
what,
search
why,
for it and then
right.
try to find it, yeah.
Right.
I know where she means, but it takes a while to get to it. Or it does me.
Any other questions or comments, Mike?
Justin, I should know this. I plead ignorance. Burning rubbish, is that in a whole nother chapter or section of our code?
Yeah, so this does reference multiple parts of the municipal code. That's why the building code issues are in there. It's section 14. There are other, the burning rubbish. There's whole different sections of the code that it's consolidating the fines. So the next ordinance that we'll look at had a bunch of these numbers in it as well. So I pulled all those out and just referenced this table. So that's another thing that we want to do. We don't want it to say different fines in different locations. So it is in a completely different section of the ordinance than we.
I know the fire department got called out, somebody was cited actually, and I didn't know if that needed to be addressed, but it's not part of this, is it?
We didn't propose any changes to that, no.
Is it on here? And I'm not seeing it?
Let's see here. Feeding wildlife. Public nuisance, let me see here. Environmental nuisance, it might be under environmental nuisance.
Chapter 38 and 54, I was guessing that too, but again, I don't know, Mike, good question. If your specific activity would fall into those two.
So I think at some point we probably ought to revisit that.
Okay. I think that's the important thing. I don't know how old the ordinance is, but. I don't-
1974.
Yeah, I don't ever remember going through, you know what I mean? So I was riding a tricycle and so just the yeoman's work to update this, but obviously, Mike, there's more that we could ask
Yeah, I
the
think
plan
it's
department
important.
and code enforcement to look at.
Yeah, I believe that would fall under public nuisance or environmental nuisance, the burning.
See, I see it 1974.
Any other questions or comments?
Thanks for your hard work on this, Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Hearing none, I'd make a motion that we accept ordinance 2026-0101.
On first reading? Okay? Mike?
Yes, sir, as amended. As amended.
As amended on first reading, good. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
There's a second. Any further discussion? Call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you for that. And Justin, keeping you busy before tonight and to tonight and for tonight. Ordinance Amendment 2026-0102. What are we looking at here?
Again, so this one goes hand in hand with the previous ordinance. So one aspect of what we were trying to do to get that more desirable parking situation in downtown was to raise the fines. The other aspect is to reduce the amount of people that could just shuffle from space to space. And what this ordinance does, it's designed to inhibit that ability. So we would have the establishment of a parking zone in downtown. It would also enable us to enforce parking through a mobile payment app, basically going to a short-term parking metered system. That would also enable us to do permits, and it would just kind of update our whole process. So right now, we're using pencil and paper, filling out the ticket, going back to the department, inputting that data into a spreadsheet, and then a couple different spreadsheets are going around and circulating, and it's just not the most efficient system. So this would update our ability to enforce more rapidly, reduce the amount of manpower as far as inputting data, and it's just a way more streamlined way to enforce parking. It would also enable us, currently there's no way to, aside from moving your car, there's no way to stay in one spot all day. This would enable us to allow visitors to downtown to stay a little bit longer if they wanted to, but also kind of deter people from staying in the same spot. So if somebody parks in front of somebody's shop, it would be a little bit more challenging for them to just leave their car there all day, every day. If they wanted to do that, it would be about $45 a week to leave it there all day, every day. So there would be a trade-off, a way to de-incentivize somebody from leaving their car in one spot all day, to increase that turnover, increase visitors' ability to find ideal parking spaces in downtown.
So basically, just to review, because we've been working on this for months, no longer will there be little chalk marks on tires. Now they'll be able to go in a car, take a picture of the license plate, that'll be registered, and if that license plate shows up anywhere else in the downtown zone during that same day and adds any more time without paying for it, they'll be fined. Is that basically the idea?
That's the idea, and the intent is to be friendly and fair. So we would want to enforce it in a way, and we have the ability to, with the way this is written, we have the ability to enforce it in a way that doesn't punish somebody that's just coming down to grab a coffee and then they come back for lunch. We would look at those cases and be able to enforce it in a way that makes sense for our town. So going after the worst of the worst as far as the space shuffling activities that happen where somebody's leaving their car downtown all day. So we'd want to try to work with people as far as in our code enforcement as far as how we implement this. So yes, it would be, they would have a digital reader that would scan plates, and they would be able to digitally chalk the cars at that point, and make sure we were monitoring the downtown zone in a way that made sense for the community.
The technology has the ability, Justin, you help me out if I don't say this correctly. The technology has the ability, if you were to come down in the morning and have breakfast and go shopping and you're here for about an hour, if you leave the zone, the technology has the ability over a 2-hour period to see that you've actually left. You then would have the ability to come back at noon, say hi to Cindy, buy some clothes, maybe even get something to eat. You'd have to stay if you come back within a 2-hour window, but you could come back and it would actually restart your experience.
Okay, I wondered about that. That was the
The
question. I had.
technology has the ability to do it. Also, the two in code enforcement have the ability to track that to the point where they can tell where your car was. You got to be careful when you listen to me, but they can actually tell where it was, that zone, that street, and if it's even in the same spot.
Interesting.
Time and moving. And the whole idea is to prevent people from staying in and playing musical chairs. If you come in, great. If you leave, great. We will let you come back in, but we're watching you again to make sure that you're being a good neighbor, a good consumer, and fair to the rest of the people. Did I say anything there that's misleading?
I'd be a little careful with the time limit on coming back. Like there will be a time where our code enforcement staff will have the ability to decide whether or not that violated our ordinance. So we just want to be careful on putting a time bracket on that. It's not every 2 hours you can just go around the corner and park on a different street that's downtown. And not that you were saying that, but I want to be very cautious about how we present that. I think the goal is to not just have somebody move around the entirety of downtown now. We want to make sure that it's for those people who came and got breakfast and now they're coming back for a lunch later. We want to accommodate those the best we can. People will not have to open an app or start a session if they're planning on staying less than 2 hours. I know that was a concern of the council. If you have an elderly parent or somebody that just struggles with technology or they don't have a phone, we will have kiosks as well. So if somebody that didn't have a phone or didn't want to use their phone for this purpose wanted to stay downtown all day, they could put change in the machine and they could do that as well. So we're going to install a couple kiosks for that. But we just, for those who want to use the phone and the app, they can easily get on there and add to their meter so they can stay all day if they would like. Or the shops can validate parking as well. So we're looking at different ways to do that.
Code enforcement with the technology has the ability to make things better in the downtown. And these guys have figured out, my late mom always used to say, Jeff, it's usually easier said than done. They've focused on the done part. Obviously, we're going to learn and have to modify things, I'm sure, over time. But boy, oh boy, a lot of miles have been covered. And I would argue, like you heard Justin come back at me, we're trying to be as friendly as we possibly can and make it as easy and friendly as possible to park downtown, do business downtown. That's the goal. And I think we're really close to hitting the mark and moving forward with this just sooner than later. So.
Just one question then. So theoretically, if you came downtown for breakfast and you were here 45 minutes, and then you came back in the afternoon, you still have like an hour and 15 minutes left?
The time, that's a way to look at it. We're going to try to be as friendly as possible with that. I would say about a 4-hour gap, but again, I'm really hesitant to put a number on it. But we want to be as friendly as possible to those individuals. So that's a way to look at it. But yeah, the remainder of the time, it technically will. Yeah, you just don't want to stay in the same spot for more than 2 hours.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But theoretically, you could come for breakfast and then come back for half an hour for a lunch, and you're not having to start a new session or anything.
So let me weigh in just a little bit on this. So this ordinance has been incredibly hard for Justin and I to work on, and I'll tell you why. Other communities don't have you don't have to check in to start parking. Every other community is you pull into a spot, you log in to check into your parking. They may give you your first 2 hours free, but you are obligated to log in. This council has expressed the idea that they don't want people to have to bother or deal with that if they don't plan to stay more than 2 hours. It's unique. And this council's trying to work with our community and say, we like it to be how it kind of used to be. You didn't have to do anything if you parked here for 2 hours. But with the technology we have some ability to scan plates and start parking whether you started it or not. But it's really difficult because this idea of 2 free hours of parking becomes difficult because you didn't start a parking session when you came here. So we're trying to work with the idea that we don't want people to park somewhere and stay more than 2 hours unless they plan to pay for more than 2 hours. But that's being balanced with, we also don't want to have to make people start a parking session, scan a QR code, or log on to something if they're not going to be here for 2 hours. So now we're weighing the difficulties of, we want our cake and to eat it too, this idea that we don't want to be unfair to somebody who comes and stays for 30 minutes to do something and comes back later. And we're trying to avoid that. But I'll be honest, from where I'm sitting, I don't know that it's always going to work that way. The idea is our technology is not foolproof that we're going to know where every car is every minute. There's actually going to have to be a code enforcement officer who drives around and scans plates. And when he comes down the street again, he'll probably scan the plates again. But he's not going to go to every street every 5 minutes and scan every plate. But the mayor, working with Justin, has really tried to be friendly with what is this really trying to accomplish. It's not really a revenue source for this community. We're not doing it really for that, to make a revenue off of people parking. It's to try to, as Justin put in his discouraged space shuffling, increase the ability of turnover of the better parking spots that the vendors want, and also give people the opportunity, if they need to stay longer than 2 hours, that they don't get ticketed. Right now, if you pull in and you want more than 2 hours of free parking, if you want to pay for that third hour, you don't even have that option. You have to go move your car. You're going to be ticketed. So I want Justin to be careful that there's some promise that in trying to work this out, of that somebody's going to get more than 2 free hours from the start of when they first park. I don't think there's a guarantee for that, to be quite honest. We're trying to get the technology to work that way. We're trying to have some flexibility with our code enforcement officers on who they think the ticket should go to. But it's also difficult because it's just going to somewhat be by chance as to whether your car got scanned, if they scanned you not being there, if you moved your car. But the whole intent of this isn't to raise parking ticket revenue or even to raise parking revenue. It's to discourage the space shuffling, free up parking regularly for the vendors who want turnover into parking. But this has been very difficult because of starting with the idea that we don't want people to have to proactively do something every time. But we're trying to make it so that people want to come downtown. People aren't afraid to come downtown. People want to park and do business downtown and don't feel like they're going to get ticketed every time. We're trying to extend the 2 free hours to as many people as we have. And what we've heard the most complaints is the majority of the people, it's not a problem. There's a limited number of people that have violated this situation and a limited number of people who need truly more than a 2-hour parking time. So I think Justin's done an amazing job, countless hours of discussing this and rediscussing this to try to say what he's saying tonight. We're trying to be friendly about it and encourage people to come downtown, but some of this is going to be a little bit of trial and error of how well this system works and how people are using it. So if that helps, I don't know, but I think that's an honest statement of where I see it right now.
Great amount of effort, and again, what he just said, trial and error. Here's what I'll tell you, related to what Justin put in the memo and what Scott mentioned. Do I, as mayor, believe that this new approach will discourage space shuffling? Yes. Do I believe it will increase turnover? Yes. do I believe these efforts will create a more modern and adaptable approach to enforce, while we're also being as friendly as we possibly can, parking in the downtown? Yes, there will be some trial and error, but we have come a long way because of your patience, your efforts, and their work to having a better approach to promote the downtown through this new program that we have.
So I have a question for you. Is this parking ordinance perfect?
We're heading,
Yes or no?
we are heading toward that. We are heading.
Okay, so the
in that
answer is no, it's not.
We're walking in that direction.
So the reason I asked the question is, I as a councilman know the effort that's gone into this. And I as a councilman appreciate it, and I'm not willing to sacrifice the good for the perfect, because we don't have perfect, I don't think it exists. It's a good start.
It's a really good start. I appreciate that. And again, a lot of credit goes right here. 2 years ago, remember, we were talking about, okay, good, and a lot of work, so. Yeah, I appreciate that, Mike.
Well, any place I've ever gone where you had to pay for parking, they didn't give you 2 hours. No place. You started the ticker as soon as you parked and walked up to the kiosk or put in your credit card or scanned your phone. Clock's running.
Quarter of the meter.
And this is only during the week for, what, 8 hours a day?
Yeah.
You go to other places, it's 24/7.
Yeah, it is.
Justin, the only issue I see, and I don't know how we could solve it, theoretically, someone could park in front of Cindy's store 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and pay $45 a week. I don't know how we could solve that, but I can see that being the biggest flaw, because it's not solving the problem. If I wanted to park downtown, $45 for 5 days of parking, 8 hours a day would be very cheap.
And I do know for a
Well,
fact that
and
some
I know
people
that
say they will
happens.
do that.
Yes.
Doesn't that go back to what we just looked at as far as raising fines for, if they're there for 8 hours a day, they're probably going to get a ticket 5 times a week.
Well, no, they're gonna pay the
Time-
$45. They're gonna pay the $45 and park there.
Times 50, times 50 on the first offense.
Somebody might try that for
I
a
mean,
week or so.
yeah,
I don't think it would,
be
I don't think it's
extremely
something.
more
Good start.
expensive.
And there's always the immobilization
figure
fee and
So-
and that whole
Yeah.
action.
So, and that's something the county,
I get you, there's ways to game the
If-
system,
Yeah,
there
somebody
always
said
is.
that's what they'll
If-
do. They'll just
Yeah,
make it
they'll just pay the
The-
$45.
If the technology, it has the capability to track when
does.
somebody leaves the downtown parking zone, it also has the capability to know if somebody's been there for a full week. And if we get repeat offenders, likely instead of 45, it can be 245, and problem solved. And if they're gonna pay that, we'll take the money, right? I mean, that's my opinion on it, but I also think it's gonna have to happen first for us to look at that.
About a year ago, related to what you said, remember, and Justin's commented, if you start a session, you can stay for more than 2 hours if you want, but you'll have to pay for it, including all day, which would be your $9, and you could do that every day. I do like, we just increased fines for violators. I do like being friendly to start here. If you're going to start the session, Josh, like you say, I think that it's very friendly. But again, the data collection after a year, we're going to know how many people are doing it, where, when, how. I'm sure Cindy will be saying, hey, John Q. Public's in front of my business every day. Okay, what can we do about that 3, 6, 9, 12 months later? We can reevaluate and we can decide maybe it's worth more than $9. So we'll raise the amount for someone to do that. Could even change code to say you can't park on the same spot, or I don't know where, I better be quiet here, but we can adjust accordingly. But this is very friendly, what we're doing. We want to encourage people, all right, to come downtown. We want to encourage people that do want to stay more than 2 hours to start a session and not play musical chairs, not to have the space shuffling.
The other thing, the reality of this is, it is public parking. It's not any business's parking, it's public parking. So if somebody parks in public where they choose to park, it's not, for example, Cindy's parking in front of her business, it's public parking. So this applies to the entire downtown area. There's no favorites, there's no less favorites. It's public parking, and this portion of public parking is going to be regulated as part of the downtown parking area because it's been identified as something that has a need. And Justin in particular is trying to balance helping the vendors and the business owners have this spaces available for new customers, along with the value to having public parking to those people who park. So I think he's doing a really, really, really good job to try to appease everyone to the best that he can, particularly with the difficulty of, as Mike pointed out a little earlier, trying to maintain that 2 hours of free parking and trying to give most people the opportunity to not have to interact with an app all that often. Just come and park like you always have. And if you stay less than 2 hours, it's going to be seamless for all those people. It's the few people that need to be there longer than 3 hours that are going to deal with the app. And I think it's a really good balancing thing that Justin's been able to accomplish, and he should be commended because this has been exceptionally difficult.
Okay, so I just have a quick question now. So I'm looking at the ordinance, I looked at this at home too. There's 15 pages of it. This is supposed to be an amendment to it. I'm assuming we're not amending the ends of it, which says where you can and can't park, because that would have been things that we were dealing with the traffic commission, right? Like,
There was one item in that list that we took out as 178 that was dealt with Madison School, which is no longer there. The Grove
Okay.
has replaced that. So we did update one item on there. We didn't go through that exhaustive list. That is something we would want to do with traffic safety.
That's what I was
But
thinking.
since that school zone, it had very specific hours, Lynn actually pointed it out, very specific hours that were related to that school being there. And it's
so
no
is
longer.
that what the words reserved means on 178 and 179?
Yeah, 179 was already reserved, 178 has been removed, and so that's what the reserved.
That's what
Yep.
the reserved means, okay. That was just a question for clarification, so I knew what we
And
were,
again, it's 15 pages, but
Right.
the downtown, Justin, help me out, it's section 74-213, it's on page 11. You start to see all of this, it's across the board.
this is
but
establishing the zone.
that's the designated zone and what life will be like in that zone.
The parameters of the zone aren't changing, so we didn't actually change the streets that are 2 hours versus unlimited parking. That's identical to what we had before, but how we are able to enforce it based on the language in the ordinance is what is changing.
Got it.
You start to see that in item 5, it'd be section 5, or
Yeah.
section 74-213, number 5. You start to see that, how we're changing the way we ask you to behave in that parking designation.
And then on page 11, I don't know, it's 5B, I don't know what this section is, like like 2 free hours, and then the third hour is $3
Yes.
an hour, and then each additional is $1, or a maximum of $15 per day to
At the
park.
bottom of page 11 on the document, if you look at it,
Yeah,
item
then
number
beginning
5
page
again.
12,
And then
okay.
if you go to page 12, up at the top, you'll see the rest of it, and then it has the free parking regulations. That's where, Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, that's where our downtown designation is, and then the change in our approach.
So if they parked all day and they paid for it and they did it all week, it would cost them $75 a week, not 45. Because it's $15
No, I
a
think
day.
I think
times
it's saying the
5.
maximum that we could charge per day is $15.
Right, and so 5 days would.
But I don't think that's equal to the rate fee that we have spelled out in the first three, in A, B, and C. So
Right.
like, you want to park for the third hour, you're paying $3. So you got
Right.
the first 2 hours free, and then your third hour is $3, so then the next, 5 hours after that, that you could legally park before it becomes free again, is $1. So that'd be 8, and maybe, I must have missed one, but it's $9 is our,
It's 9.
what we're spelling out as what we would charge for an entire day's parking. I think that it's just simply giving a maximum if the rates were ever to increase.
Yeah, because I
That
wondered about that,
15 would be the cap.
because it seemed
That's
like
the way I'm
those
reading that.
contradicted each other, so
Yeah.
that's why I was
Yeah.
wondering.
Yeah, I see.
I get it.
I was just letting you, that's how I read it, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Still $45.
And that is typical with some other ordinances, that the fines wouldn't equate to the max, but that's just, they put a cap on there, just like Josh laid out. That's-
Okay, thanks, Josh.
You're welcome. I guess.
Jess and I had the same discussion.
Yeah.
Right. I appreciate the questions and comments, or maybe more. Again, I think it's very deserving. It needs it, the amount of work that's gone into this. Any other comments or questions? I think if you hold on to Justin's memo, if people are asking questions, or I was going to report it in the local media, it would be those three things. That's the good faith effort: discouraging space shuffling, increasing turnover, and creating a more modern approach to code enforcement. I mean, that's the charge. And I think that's what was asked by me 2 years ago. And I think through your patience and questions and desires on what you want it to look like, here we are. It's a big deal. Anything else? It is an ordinance, so it will require 2 readings, so it's going to give you an opportunity, if you even want to consider action tonight, it's going to give us time to see what the reaction is, and as we look at this again at the Police Department Training Center.
I just want a little clarification, page 5, section 74-210, as a former downtown business owner, and this will affect Cindy too. We have a lot of delivery trucks, UPS, FedEx, DHL, and it says here that they can load and unload only in a loading zone duly established and marked as such. Does that verbiage apply to those kind of deliveries, or?
Where is it, Mike? I'm not finding it. What,
Page 5.
page
section
5 of the document?
Yes,
Section 20.
section 74-210,
Page-
first
page 4.
paragraph. Oh, well, it says 5 on mine.
Well, the page number is 4, but if you
Okay.
have 5 up here, then.
Okay, go to 74-210.
Yeah,
Who's saying?
74, 210 is better.
That says a passenger vehicle. Someplace else in this ordinance I read where they have a certain amount of time to unload, and then if they need longer, they contact. It tells you where to contact if they're gonna have to be there longer.
Yeah, I don't think.
I can't
loading and
imagine-
Unloading's ever enforced or checked on.
I
or
can't imagine that
anything.
it would be, but
But this says
Since
a
we're discussing-
passenger vehicle, not a UPS truck.
well, it just says in a loading zone duly established, and I saw that it said, well, it says freight carrying vehicle too.
And I don't know what the fine would be or what it would pertain
But
to.
no
Proper
person shall
parking?
park in any freight carrying vehicle.
Got it, I see what you said.
And then only in
So
a
it starts
loading
off
zone,
saying no
so
person
I
shall park
assume
a
that
passenger
it's not gonna be a problem for FedEx, UPS, DHL to stop in front of Cindy's store, take in a
No.
box of chocolates.
No, this is just more for just making sure that they're
Okay, just-
aware. There are limitations that could be
Now's the
enforced.
time to,
Well, it appears that paragraph separates out a parking, or a passenger vehicle and freight carrying.
It does.
About halfway through it, it switches
Third line in
from
the
passenger
middle.
to freight.
Freight carrier.
It does.
And then it gives you the 1, 2, 3 points for the freight carrying. And as far as passenger vehicle, you're not supposed to be there any longer than need be to load or unload a passenger. Freight would most likely take longer than a passenger.
Or a box of chocolates.
Or a box of chocolates.
Yeah, the language is in there, Jack, you're right, whether it's
Yeah.
passengers or goods.
Amazon parks in a road and just puts their flag.
I had to read it several times. I thought, maybe it needs to be clearer.
Well, I
I could be dense.
I understand my mistake with our discussion earlier about the people parking for, all day long and everything, and I understand that now. There's going to be different things that's going to pop up,
Yeah.
This is a new system. There's going to be bugs in it. We're not going to be able to see them all right now. I think this is a really good first, good faith effort
Really
to
good.
try to give people the ability to come downtown and try to keep it as much, keep one foot in the old system, and another foot in the new system. I just think it's really good, and I think we ought to go with it. And I would even make that motion if everybody's ready.
Motion by Jack to pass on first reading, is that correct, Jack?
Yes. If you'd like, I could say it.
I'll ask for a second.
Okay, I will.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I move that we accept ordinance 2026-0102 as written.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second to pass this ordinance as presented on first reading. Is there any further discussion?
And as amended, right? Are we still?
That was
That was
the
the
That was the last,
previous
sorry,
version.
okay.
Yeah, so
That's my
it's
bad.
still there.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Justin, you good? Thanks again for all your effort.
Patience.
Oh, man. Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Thanks again for all of your hard work. We appreciate it. Thanks. Are there any other matters? Any other matters? Mike, how you doing?
In front of the
Good, how are you? Not tall enough for this.
Interesting, isn't it?
So I gave you each folder with some information in it regarding Freedom Fest. I've been asked to be the county coordinator for America 250 from one of the commission members that Governor Holcomb put in place when he was in office. So every so often I get a letter from Charlotte who keeps us updated on things that the state would like each community to do in Indiana to celebrate America's birthday. Some of that information is in the folders that I gave you. So I am here to let you know that we would really appreciate the city's support for this. As Diane said in the beginning, talking about dreams, I have a dream that this could be quite an epic event for our county and our community as far as a tourism standpoint, if we can get everybody working together towards the same goal. Does anybody have any questions?
Did everybody get a packet from Mike? The first thing.
So there's a parade application in there, a vendor application, and an event application. So one of the cool things is if the mayor's gonna have an event, whatever it could be, a bed race downtown Warsaw, and he wants to have everybody decorate their beds in red, white, and blue to commemorate America's birthday. If he fills that event form out and submits it to me, then I submit it to the state, America 250 Commission, and then it goes on the state's website as an official America 250 event. And that can be for any event within reason. It has to be, meet the parameters of family friendly and that type of thing. It also has to commemorate America's birthday, but it can be any time throughout the year. So that could be Winona Lake fireworks. It could be a third Friday. It could be, if you want to incorporate something about America 250 at any of the events at Central Park, any of those things. All of those forms are on the kcfreedomfest.org website. And if you go to the Indiana website for America 250, you'll find a map, and you can hover over the different counties. The ones that have events highlighted, you can click on that and see what other counties are doing. It's pretty interesting. We've got some pretty cool things in the works. Chapman Lake is submitted for their fireworks and flotilla. Wawasee is submitted for their flotilla. Obviously, Freedom Fest is on there. We've got some really cool things in the works for Freedom Fest. I think, at least in my 51 years, I don't remember some of the things that we have lined up ever being in Warsaw before. We're not quite ready to reveal that. I can talk to you individually afterwards if you would like, but hopefully sooner than later we'll be able to make some pretty cool announcements. We're giving the fairgrounds a facelift, cleaning the fairgrounds up so that this is going to be it'll be a nice fresh look for the fairgrounds to celebrate America's birthday. So anything you guys can do to help support this would be fantastic.
Mike, I want to thank you for all that you've done up to this point. Appreciate you presenting this information to us, sharing with us tonight. I'd recommend that the council go through this, look at it, and over the next several weeks, consider touching base with Mike with any questions or concerns, and see where that takes you. So, good.
One other thing real quick, in December, we had our country Christmas with Susie McIntyre, and it was not quite as cold as it is now, but it wasn't far from it. We still had folks come from Atlanta, Georgia, Colorado, Pennsylvania. We had a lot of visitors from out of town, and we had a young man, 13 years old, that came up here from Houston, Texas. DJ Daniel was here, and his father. Some of you, I think, got to meet him. But just so you know, his dad said that this was their first time in Indiana ever, and out of all of the places that they've been, they felt that Warsaw has been the friendliest place that they've been. So, pretty proud of that.
That's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's it.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, really quick before you go, for the general public that might be kind of hearing about this for the first time, kind of the first time I'm hearing about it for the most part too, if they want to help in any way, what's a good way to get a hold of you or the committee?
All of our information is at the website, the kcfreedomfest.org.
Okay.
And then we also have a Facebook page, which is Kosciuszko County Freedom Fest. And there's a little backstory to this. The reason we're calling it Freedom Fest is very intentional. Some places are just calling it America 250. Well, we're doing Freedom Fest to celebrate America 250, because if this goes well, then we'd like to continue Freedom Fest, and we don't have to rebrand everything next year. So we can continue with Freedom Fest if this goes off well. We have endorsement letters from the governor, the lieutenant governor, Congressman Rudy Yocum, Representative Craig Snow, the mayor has given us one. So we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm
One
looking
other
forward
thing
to it.
that the state is asking each community to do is to plant a liberty tree. We're working with the marsh over at the courthouse to see if there's a location on the courthouse lawn that we can plant a liberty tree. That'll be kind of a ceremonial thing. We're thinking maybe we could include that in a third Friday. I've talked to a state forester, and they've made some recommendations on the particular type of tree to plant, and they can actually come up here and help make that an educational process to plant the tree and that type of thing. So that'll be pretty cool. Another thing that they suggest each county do is a time capsule. So be thinking of some cool things that we can put in a time capsule. They don't want it buried. They would like it put on display, sealed and put on display, City Hall, courthouse, something like that. So
Pretty cool.
We have a couple of vaults that I'd like to volunteer.
oh, what?
A couple of vaults we could
Vaults
store something in, yeah.
out of Oakwood?
No.
No.
Different kind of vault?
Bank
Oh, okay.
vaults.
All
Bank
right.
vaults.
All right.
Mike,
Oh,
don't listen to her.
We could fill it up with parking tickets that are $25.
Josh, wait a
What?
minute.
Oh,
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks.
It's cemetery.
Anything else?
Did you want to announce anything about February 2nd?
The media has been notified that as we move into the month of February, all public meetings will be held at the Warsaw Police Department Training Center. So I know some of you are asking, when is that? You know, there were some text today, and again, it's legit because it's been very fluid. But right now, it's the move is going to be made. I think it's going to be after the BZA. Justin meets on the 26th. I think this place is going to be cleared out. And everything will be transported over to the police department for basically the month of February. Any and all meetings in February, the training center, which you go into the police department campus, and you take a right. There will be plenty of parking. So, yes.
I was referencing our meeting on Friday
We'll be here.
Oh,
about the strategic plan
yeah.
that you were going to have Justin talk about
I'm
tonight.
sorry.
Yeah.
Diane, I'm glad you're here.
So on February 2nd,
Yeah.
while we're over in the
But we
PD.
got so in the weeds with the parking
No,
ordinance.
sorry, I was-
It just, yeah.
For each of the council members, I have a printout of our current strategic plan from 2017. It also has a little page that's Leah put together and printed out. She's been working on this, just structuring that meeting for the council. There'll be we're planning right now to have a 2-hour session, working session with the council on February 2nd. Members of the media are welcome to attend, but it's not a public input meeting. It's more for the council to work together, understanding what we have in our current strategic plan, seeing if that fits the city moving forward to help guide the city and give us that direction that we need from you guys. So I'm going to hand each of you these copies at the end of the meeting, and then you'll have some homework to do leading up to that meeting, and then we'll do a SWOT analysis during that meeting. So any questions about that process? I know one of you will be out of town that meeting, so I wanted to get this material to you sooner than later. We'll be able to communicate over email, hopefully, to get your feedback. And then the entire process will protract a couple months, so we'll be able to get feedback from even the council members who will be out of town in February, because we know that's a concern, but we want to make sure you have time to voice your concerns and your opinions of the strategic plan and what you would like to see in there.
Justin, is the date on there 2017? Is that the last time? Is that the?
Yeah, it was worked on in 2017, and I believe it was finally released in 2018. I believe that was but yeah, it was 2017.
So
was
work on this almost a decade ago. We have a very, very experienced senior council. I think the time is right to revisit that. And I want to thank Diane for just keeping an eye on this and encouraging me to head this direction. I think it'll be a good exercise. The plan department, Justin, Leah, Jeremy's going to help out as well, Skinner. just have us look at this again. What do we want to keep? What do we want to get rid of? And the efforts of this spring, early summer, will result in a visit by the Plan Commission and probably other boards and this council to look at our comprehensive plan. Is that correct? So it's a two-pronged approach here for the good of the community, just helping with short and long-term planning.
So the idea is on February 2nd to get ideas out on the table, any questions we might have, things we've been thinking about, that kind of thing. And then to follow that up with some more small group meetings where things can be discussed further, questions can be asked, and sometime perhaps in April or early May, for Leah to give us then a draft copy to look at then. So kind of like we did with the employee handbook, where we have a draft copy then, and then we can again meet more to refine anything we want to before it's actually adopted. So hopefully we'll catch everybody coming and going, that everybody will have a chance to have input on it. But we felt like we needed to get started and know where we are and what questions we have and what kinds of things we're thinking about. And then if we need more information, that information could be gathered. And we can either gather again as a larger group, or we thought it was really productive when we met in smaller group sessions on the employee handbook to get some things. And then meet again as an entire group to look at the final draft, or the draft, to see what we want to finalize.
It'll be very good for this board, or other boards and commissions, my office, the plan department, strategic plan, comprehensive plan this year, maybe finalized into early next, as we face another local election cycle. So it's just crazy. Time is flying. And then again, back to this, you're going to see 2017 on that. And it seems like yesterday, but no, it's been that long. So it'll be good for us.
What time is that?
We would like to start the meeting at 5
Okay.
PM on that day. I was working.
And there will be food.
Bring your grill, Justin.
Yeah. Thanks again, Diane, for your help. And also Justin, you and Leah, I know Jeremy was in on that meeting also. So we'll take those. Make sure that you get one, or Justin, you can bring them to us now if you want, and that we get one before we leave.
So will that just be part of our regular council meeting?
Be before it, right. It'll be before, and then we can eat.
Just ease
And then-
into,
yep, And then
okay,
we'll go into our council meeting if we have business, which we will,
okay.
these ordinances, so. More work, but I can't think of a better group. The amount of experience that not only this board has, but also Justin and Jeremy's leadership. I just think this will be a very good exercise for all of us to revisit and go through it again. Justin, thanks for all your work and getting all this for us, and appreciate it. Any other items?
Mayor, I'd just like to make a quick comment. I'm very glad we didn't have a meeting yesterday. And I think.
What were you doing? I see your coat there. What were you?
I was, I actually came by here,
Okay.
but I realized there wasn't a meeting. But for all of us IU grads and the whole state of Indiana, I think we can be very proud of IU, and probably the most exciting IU football game in the last 100 years. Just want to mention that.
Yeah. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. We're adjourned before 8:30, man.
Didn't know that was likely you can.
I don't think they had a meeting last time.